On a quiet morning at my 20-acre ranch in rural Texas, I stepped onto my lakeside patio and froze. Rows of white chairs stood like tombstones, perfectly aligned, facing the water. A massive floral arch draped in roses and ribbons loomed at the far end, next to a chalkboard sign proclaiming, "Welcome to the start of eternity." It was a wedding set upon my land, my lake, my cedar deck, built with my own hands beside the lake my grandfather carved from the earth. I own this place outright, every inch of it, free from the grasp of any HOA. But that never stopped Vanessa. Her real name's Vanessa Lorraine Whitaker, but around here, she's just Vanessa, the HOA's self-appointed empress. She rolls up in a gleaming SUV the size of a tank, her perfume announcing her arrival before she even steps out. Weeks earlier, Vanessa had emailed me, all syrupy charm. "We'd love to use your patio for my daughter's lakeside wedding. Just 5 hours, you won't even notice us. Besides, you don't use it much." I shot back a polite, but firm no. I don't rent out my patio. I don't run a venue. And I sure as hell didn't want 200 strangers trampling my sanctuary. She didn't reply, so I thought that was the end of it. I was wrong. 2 days before the supposed wedding, I walked down to the lake and found a crew hammering tent poles into my soil, stringing lights, and wheeling in a bar cart. I confronted the crew chief, a guy with a clipboard and a nervous frown. "Who authorized this?" I asked. He glanced at his papers. "Vanessa said it's family-owned." "Permission granted." I laughed, bitter. "Family-owned. My name's on the deed. Mine alone." The crew hesitated, tools in hand, until Vanessa's SUV screeched to a halt. She strutted out, wide-brimmed hat and all, clutching her clipboard like a scepter. "Oh, don't be so difficult," she said, waving me off. "It's for Sophia's big day." I crossed my arms. "This is private property. You have no permission." She rolled her eyes, like I was a pesky neighbor complaining about her mailbox. "I'll send you a thank you note," she said, as if I were some rental agency desperate for her gratitude. I gave her 24 hours to clear out. She smirked, undeterred. "The invitations are sent. Hundreds of guests are coming. Are you really going to ruin this?" I didn't answer. I had a better idea, one Vanessa couldn't possibly see coming. "See, my patio isn't just a patio. It's a floating dock, half on land, half on water, anchored by pontoons and rigged to a hidden winch behind the trees. Pulleys and an underwater rail let it pivot smoothly, rotating to follow the sun or swing out like a lazy drawbridge. I built it for fishing, swimming, or just kicking back with a beer. Vanessa, with her Pinterest-perfect vision, saw only a stage for her daughter's wedding. She didn't notice the machinery or the potential for chaos. So I waited. I watched her bark orders at florists, photographers, and caterers during the rehearsal. I let her strut around my property, giving tours like she owned the county. I bided my time until the wedding day, when the guests arrived in their pastel suits and dresses, phones ready to capture every moment. The ceremony began. Sophia, radiant in a gown that probably cost more than my truck, stood at the patio's edge. The officiant raised his hands, launching into the dearly beloved speech. That's when I slipped behind the trees and pulled the lever. At first, the movement was subtle, almost dreamlike. The platform glided, slow and graceful, like a boat drifting on a calm current. Then the aisle shifted. The floral arch tilted. Guests gasped, clutching their chairs. Sophia's heels slid sideways, her veil fluttering. The best man stumbled, nearly toppling into the water. Vanessa's voice pierced the air. "Stop it. Stop the platform." But it was 20 feet from shore now, spinning leisurely, a carousel of chaos. A few guests tried to leap the gap, two landed on the grass. One splashed into the lake, his suit ruined. The DJ scrambled to save his speakers, but they slid into the water with a crackle. Rose petals floated like confetti in a storm. Vanessa sprinted to the winch, her face a mask of fury. I was already there, lounging in a lawn chair, sipping lemonade. "What did you do?" she shrieked. I shrugged. "Just flip the switch." She jabbed a manicured nail at me. "You're ruining her special day." I leaned back, unfazed. "You ruined my weekend first." This was my time to be left alone. She sputtered, threatening to sue. I raised an eyebrow. "For operating my dock on my lake, on land you trespassed on?" Her bravado faltered. She turned, shouting across the water, "Sophia, Stay calm. The bride, now stranded with her bridal party, spun slowly in the lake's center, her dress catching on a stray fishing pole I'd left out. The crowd murmured, some outraged, others stifling laughs. It was a spectacle beautiful, absurd, and utterly controversial. I'm not a monster, so I eventually cranked the winch and brought the dock back. The vows were said, though the mood was less fairy tale romance and more survival story. But I wasn't done. I handed Vanessa an invoice, $10,000 for unauthorized use of my property. She scoffed until I showed her the drone footage 3 angles of her trespassing, plus the moment Sophia's dress snagged on my pole. She paid in cash, her silence louder than any thank you note. Within a week, I'd installed a fence around the lake, complete with a keypad gate. A new sign went up, private property, not a wedding venue. Trespassers will be floated. Now, I sit on that patio with a cold drink, watching it glide over the water, smooth as ever. It's locked to shore with a heavy chain, but the lever's always ready. Vanessa's wedding stunt sparked whispers in town. Some call me a hero, others a petty tyrant. I don't care. Let them debate. If anyone else gets entitled enough to claim my land, I'll smile, sip my lemonade, and give them a nautical surprise they'll never forget.